lovers, welcome back to the craft room. In today's video, as a teacher, I'm going to be telling you how to use your scraps to make presents that your teachers will thoroughly appreciate for the end of term. So let's get into it. I have notes, I've been stalking things because if people aren't going to make these for me, I'm going to make them for myself because these are genuinely things that I would want to receive or that I would want to have like in my classroom or just in general to help me with teaching, because let's be honest, apart from wine and chocolate, teachers will love useful things for the classroom. So the first thing is wall organisers. Now I found this one from Prima.co.uk. Obviously there is like a ton of wall organisers like this on Pinterest, so we'll have a scroll through Pinterest in just a second. But this one I absolutely loved. So knowing me, I'd probably have it in blue and orange or pink because it's just a nice thing to have. And your teacher could use this to put things like, I mean, for me personally, in my classroom, I would probably put my calculators in it because calculators be getting stolen all the time and it's a right pain in the bum. So I would keep my calculators in this, and then as the class is finishing up, I could do a quick glance to it, and then I know my calculators are missing, and then they would get put back in, and then everybody off to the next lesson or off to dinner or off to the end of the day. Goodbye, Sneaky. But if your teacher uses a lot of like whiteboard pens, or if they're always on the interactive whiteboard and they have to, erase things or, use the whiteboard pens, they can store them in this next to it. And the good thing about this is that it's got a coat hanger. So you just have to kind of follow the pattern, get it onto the coat hanger, and as soon as you gift it, it's pretty much good to go. Your teacher can hang that thing straight up and start putting things in and getting organised. I also found this really cute one. This one was from Amery Crochet, and this is a free video on YouTube. And this one was a bit of me because it's granny squares. I love a good granny square. I thought this was super cute and it looks super fast. One thing I would suggest is if the patterns don't say, I would use cotton, because if you're going to use acrylic, these things could stretch. So depending on what teachers are going to store in them and just general other factors of wear and tear, you probably want to use cotton because it's a lot more sturdy, it's less likely to stretch, and it'll be a bit more hard wearing. So when I typed into Pinterest crochet wall organizer, and look at all these. This is just me like scrolling through. Don't mind any dodgy adverts. I get loads of weird adverts from Temu and Shein now. But yeah, like look at all of these. These are amazing. There's just tons and tons, and there's loads of free ones as well. And if you don't like some of them, like if you like elements of one design, you could kind of be inspired and incorporate them into another one. So I mean, all a wall organizer is pretty much a solid background with pockets on it. So you can be as creative as you want. You don't just have to make like square pockets. You could do mini hexagons. You could do like a bee themed one. So do like a white background and then do some little hexagons. If you have a teacher that likes bees, I like spiders, I could do a spider one. I'm gonna get carried away here. Anyway, speaking to other teachers, some teachers would appreciate mason jars. Now, not just any mason jar. There are some really cute crochet covers you can get for mason jars. So this one is a pineapple. Look at this. Where did I find this one? Krissy's Over the Mountains Crochet. And isn't it just really cute? It's linked down below. And I thought this was so cute. And I would, like, for me, if I was going to make it for myself, I would make an orange pineapple with blue leaves because things have to be blue and orange. Like, it's just so good. I mean, I could do pink. I could. But this is you making this. So perfect scrap project. It's small. It'll use up your scrap yarns and teachers will be happy with this. But there are other ones. So I found this one from Coastal Crochet, which was super cute. I absolutely loved this one. I was thinking, I could make this for myself. And then there was another one, which was a heart pattern. So this heart pattern one was hookedonpatterns.com, and it's just nice. And your teachers are going to thoroughly appreciate this. And bonus points if you actually have the jar. So if you have like a jam jar or any kind of jar that you've been using around the house, it doesn't have to be glass. I mean, because, probably in a school, it's probably safer if it's plastic. You could do this with a plastic jar. You could recycle, save the environment. Just make sure that you've got all the food out of the bottom of the jar before you give it to the teacher. But here again, look through Pinterest. Look at all of these. I literally just typed in crochet mason jar cover and all of these came up. There's Christmas ones, there's Halloween ones. I mean, if you're watching this video in the future and it's not 2 weeks until school breaks up for summer, it's like, I don't know, it's almost Christmas or it's almost Halloween, your teachers would probably appreciate these kind of gifts for that time of year. Or you could give them a jar with interchangeable cozies on them. So you could have one, oh look, Miss or Mr. So-and-so, here is a jar, but I made you a Christmas cover, I made you a Halloween cover, I made you an Easter bunny, I made you a spring cover. Now, I asked fellow teachers, what kind of gifts would you like to receive if your students had knitted or crocheted them? Because this can also maybe apply to knitting, but since I'm obsessed with crochet, I'm just going to link some crochet ones down below because I wasn't looking for knitting because I was looking to make them for myself. Overwhelmingly, teachers said cup cozies. Can you believe it? Cup cozies. So this one is the Heart Cup Cozy by OK Girl Bling and Things. It's linked down below, like all the rest. But isn't this one just super cute? And it's done in sparkly yarn on here. Like, I have a ton of sparkly yarn. Students get sparkly yarn. I thought this was really, really cute. Like, I'm not too much of a cup cozy type person, but this is really cute. I would totally use this. There was another one which I found amazing as well. So this was by Skip to My Lou, and this is just so freaking cute. I love it. It's really, really nice. But again, you can have a look through Pinterest. You can have a look on, you can even Google this. You can even type into YouTube cup cozy, and it's going to bring up cup cozies because, you know, cup cozies being in thing now. A lot of teachers said, oh, cup cozy will be really, really nice. And it doesn't just have to be cup cozies for like takeaway coffee, such as like this. I know I don't actually use this. This is my precious Greg's one. But a cup cozy that would fit on here, like that would be nice. But then you can also use, if your teachers, because most teachers in schools are not allowed to have an illegal brew that's not covered. They have to be covered up mostly like this. But if your school does allow teachers to drink from normal cups, then you could make a cup cozy for their favourite cup. Or, I don't know, if you were going to gift them a cup, like if you just couldn't find a really nice cup for them, get them a plain one and do them a couple of cup cozies to go over it, because I would appreciate those ones. They'd be so nice. Other gifts that you could use from your scrap yarn include pouches, or things to carry books in, things to carry tablets, electronics, depending on the type of yarn you want to use, because this one doesn't necessarily have to be cotton. This can be like a really plushy yarn. This could be cotton, or it could be like an acrylic yarn, basically whatever kind of scraps you have. But if you know that your teacher likes to read a lot, you could make like a book pouch. So there was this absolutely amazing YouTube video, it's going to be linked down below. It's a love letter book sleeve by Mahum, and it's had 2.4 million views, and it's so good. Like, it's just like a really cute little pouch. I mean, you can see it here. And, you know, your teacher could put the book in if you wanted to kind of change the size up a little bit, and they could maybe fit a tablet, a Kindle. I don't know, the possibilities are endless. And it doesn't just have to be for things like books and tablets and stuff. If your teacher wants to kind of store other things in, like they might have a diary, for instance. Most teachers have a teaching diary, which lets them know what they'll be up to every day, and they'll kind of, you know, like for me personally, at the end of the day, I'll fill in my diary what I'm doing for the next couple of days, and then it gives me the chance to go and get all the printing done. So, and it would be really cute if once I've tidied my desk at the end of the night, which I do every single day, if I was to pop it back into its really pretty little sleeve and then just close it up and then be like, oh, look at that, isn't it just so beautiful? So this one I found really, really cute, and I really like this. And there's a couple more. So we've got another Skip to My Lou. I really like Skip to My Lou. And it was just a basic beginner's pouch. So you could make this with a variegated yarn, you could make it with a plush yarn, and it's just a really, really cute little pouch. So if you follow this pattern exactly, you get one that's about the size of like a little wallet. But you could, if you're a bit more experienced, you could use it as inspiration. I mean, to be fair, it pretty much just looks like you have to crochet a long rectangle and just fold it in certain ways. So that one's probably going to be better if you know that your teacher's got like a big diary, or, you know, if you know that they want to put something like a file or a folder or a tablet or something in it. But again, it's just such a really cute, simple idea. And you could even embroider it. So if you do it like in a plain colour and you've got loads of little scraps, you could embroider it, or you could stitch some little beads onto it. Make it interesting, because I'm pretty sure that whatever you make, your teacher's going to appreciate it. Okay, moving on from this would be bottle holders. Teachers need to stay hydrated. We do a lot of talking. I've been talking all day today. So a lot of talking, and staying hydrated just isn't on teachers' priority lists. So like, especially when you've got a busy day and you're running around and you forget to pick up your bottle, if you have like a bottle holder which kind of straps to you like a crossbody bag, that would be ideal, because you can just pick it up and swig. These will probably have to be made out of cotton, because obviously you don't want it to stretch. But here's a few patterns that I found which I thought were really, really nice. The first one, I have my notes. So the first one was just easy crochet water bottle holder tutorial. This is by Viv Crochet, and it was really cute and it was really simple, and it's got a cute little bow on it, and it just looks like it wouldn't take you very long at all. If you were going to make the little pouch, you could make them match. So if you've got time, if you've got enough scrap yarn, you could make a couple of things to gift, and then they'll be like, oh, matchy matchy. Another one that I found was a really super simple one by Jada and Stitches. I think back in the day, Jada and Stitches was one of those people who taught me how to crochet, and she just doesn't know it. But yeah, so this really, really cute, simple one by Jada and Stitches, which I'm just currently, I was rewatching it because she's so much fun. This is from 5 years ago, and honestly, like, it's just such a simple, cute pattern, and you can't go wrong. And if you have a variegated yarn, then it's a bonus, because it's going to look all pretty. And then I've typed into Pinterest, Look at these, look at all these bottle holders. So there's like an absolute wealth of knowledge. And even if you didn't just type into Pinterest, if you typed into YouTube, so here is my screen grab when I type into YouTube, crochet bottle holder, there is an absolute wealth of knowledge on crochet bottle holders. Like pretty much any stitch you can think of, you could make one in it, or you could just use one of these tutorials from YouTube. They're amazing. One thing to consider is the actual strap that you're going to make. So if you're making a water bottle that's not just a little hand strap, if you're making one with a long crossbody strap, don't forget that ultimately if somebody is filling it with water, it's going to get weighed down. So you might want to make sure that you've chosen like a strap stitch which is like, it's going to stand the test of time, because it will stretch. So maybe don't make it so long at the start, and then once it's kind of stretched its way to, like, you know, because it's going to only stretch so much. What I'm saying is basically don't make the strap too long to start with, because it's probably going to stretch a little bit, and then you don't want it too stretched that it's bashing off people's legs. Now this one I thought up all by myself. I didn't use ChatGPT, I didn't ask anybody else. It came to me whilst I was wiping my board. And in my school we have just like little, they're almost like face wipes, microfiber towels, and we have to have them in black because, I mean, our tables for the classroom are whiteboards, which is really bougie and amazing, and we get like loads and loads of ideas down on them. It's great. So like all the students have these like little microfiber cloths, and I have one on my desk, and I just wanted one for myself, which was like just a little bit like, you know, that's the teacher's cloth. You don't take this, because sometimes I turn around and somebody's taken the cloth off my desk because they've managed to accidentally throw their own cloth across the classroom at another child because they're having beef. So a good project, a really good scrap buster would be to make something to help your teacher clean the board. I would probably make it in darker colours, because if your teacher's writing in, you know, like dry wipe pens, which are like black and brown and blue, it's probably going to discolour pretty quickly. So if you've got any darker cotton yarns, then you could probably just use them up, like greys, browns, blacks, dark blues. You know, I mean, you could make pretty ones, but just remember, once they've been used for quite some time, they're probably not going to look as pretty anymore. They probably will wash out. Your teacher could probably take it home, chuck it in the wash, but you probably want to make darker colours and just use patterns for washcloths. So I found two really good tutorials. So this one's from 6 years ago, and it's using like peaches and cream, lily sugar and cream. It's the Crafty Yarn Barn Crochet. And it's quite an old tutorial, but I just thought that this was absolutely perfect. So if you've got some scrap cotton and you're really not bothered about, like, you know, the teacher's going to use it and it's going to get discoloured, etc., you know, just make like little board wipers out of these. Another tutorial that I found was by Jules and Jones, and this one's really pretty. So there's a couple of different ways to put your borders on, but I just thought this was really nice. It's got like texture, it's going to pick up all the stuff off the board. So if you don't want like a bog standard, you know, double single crochet, this one's just got a little bit of extra to it, and it's really nice, and it comes with two different border options. But what you can do, and Nastasia is really good for this, so I'll link Nastasia's channel down below because I love Nastasia, but like she tutorials like a billion different crochet stitches, so you can just take any stitch and make it washcloth size, and you will have like a board rubber. And if you, depending on how many scraps you have, you could make like a little set for your teacher, so then you could roll them up all nice and then put them in like a little, I don't know, something to present them and be like, teacher, I have made you this, you know, thank you for teaching me all the goodness. So let's recap what we've seen so far. The first one was the wall organisers. Fabulous things, especially next to a whiteboard. If your teacher seems to be disorganised and they keep putting their pen down and not finding it, or, you know, there are just things that could be hung on the wall which are easily accessible. Wall organisers are going to be your number one best bet. Second thing would be the jar covers. So if teachers need to be putting pens, pencils, being a bit more organised on their desk, and, you know, you just think that, oh, that organiser on their desk's a bit ugly, you could crochet something to cover it, or you could get them a jar with a crochet cover and then maybe a few more crochet covers so they can change it depending on the season if your teacher's a bit like that. And there's the one that most teachers did say, which was cup cozies, especially the heart one. I thought that one was really cute, and the roses one. The roses one was absolutely stunning. I love that one. So book covers. Now don't forget that book covers, if you're making a mini pouch, teachers could use this as a pencil case, because as a teacher I have certain pens and pencils that I don't want to lend out. So I have like my bougie pens, my bougie pencils, which I would use for, I don't know, like colouring, or there's like certain whiteboard pens that I don't want to put on the wall in the organiser, and I would keep them like secret in my little like pouch where kids can't access them because they're put away. These are the pens that I paid for. Kids can't be having these. There was the bottle holders because your teachers need to stay hydrated. So make these out of cotton and make sure the straps are not too long. But there are literally like a billion different patterns. I'm pretty sure Passionate Kelsey's got one as well, which is pretty nice. And then the last one I said was whiteboard erasers, which is just like basically like a dishcloth. So I'm not saying use it from dishcloth materials like dishcloth yarn. Use it with cottons or things that the teacher can easily wash. I mean, if you've got scrap acrylic in all different colours, I'm pretty sure your teacher would just be over the moon to receive that as well as a cotton one. So if it's going to wipe the board, if it's going to do its job, and if it's going to look quite pretty, your teacher's probably going to be really happy to have that. And especially since as a teacher, if somebody puts in effort into making a gift for me, I'd be like, oh, my little heart. So as a teacher, if I know that somebody has sat and made this item for me to have in my classroom, especially things that like I need to use, like board erasers, things for storage, or, you know, the wall organisers, that's my favourite things. Like that would be like proper, like amazing. I'd be like absolutely blown away. It's like, oh my god, you've spent like 1, 2, 3 or even more than 3 hours making a gift. That's amazing. Like a million achievement points to you. So if you found this video inspirational, please do let me know down in the comments. If you are also a fellow teacher, please let me know down in the comments. Let the other people know down in the comments. Is there anything else you think that would be good, what's stash busting and good to have in your classroom, which students could make? If you haven't already subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. Sneaky said subscribe. Bye. For right now, for me, it's only 2 weeks until the summer, so during the summer, if I don't receive these gifts, I'm going to make some of these on my channel, and I'm going to hopefully get some tutorials out for them. If not, it'll be like, you know, when I do those videos that's semi-tutorial, semi-vlog, it'll be one of those. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos like this of me making random suggestions about what to do with scrap yarn, do let me know down in the comments. But that's it for this video. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Bye!